the Daily Gospel Network, spreading the good news of Jesus Christ every day. Join our featured ministry for happiness, healing, and purpose. God has plans for your life to prosper you and to give you hope and a future. Join us as we proclaim God's love and help you step into your season. Coming up on the Daily Gospel Network.
Welcome, church family. I'm Renee Johnson with the Daily Gospel Network, where we bring you the Lord's Word every day from some of the country's most inspiring churches and pastors. And today is no different. Let's check out one of the newest members of the Daily Gospel Network.
Hi, good evening, and welcome to a Fistfull of Prayers TV. I am your speaker, Sister Chrissy Christ Anderson. And tonight I will be speaking with you and encouraging you and giving you a little inspiration on why it's always best to not fold as you grow. Yes, I know change is hard. I understand. We all understand. We're humans. But at the same time, when you grow, that's an area of your life that you're changing. Those are areas of your life that you're changing. So your growing is actually for your good. It's okay to make changes in your life. It's okay to start to make changes. It's okay to grow to make those changes. But what you need not to do as you grow and as you make those changes is fold under pressure. You don't need to fold under pressure. And I'm going to give you 6 reasons why not to fold under pressure. Number 1, it's because God is always with us. He's always with you. So don't fold when pressure gets hard and you start changing, you start shifting. Don't fold. Now is not the time to fold. That is not the time to fold. Number 2, God will guide you and He will give you the strength to get through Jesus Christ that intercedes on our behalf at all times. They will lead you in your path of righteousness and the path you are supposed to be on. And your current situation will not define you and where you're going. It doesn't define your end goal. So don't look at what you're going through to fold under pressure. No, that's not a valid excuse because you got 2 people that's behind you that's going to lead, guide you, and direct you. So no, we're not folding. Number 3, when you try to live in a way that's pleasing to God and Jesus Christ, your Savior, remember, it's not in vain. Yes, when you say yes and you are committed to the change you are about to make and the growth that you are about to produce in your life for the better and for the good, remember, it's never going to be in vain. Your rewards are so much greater. Your outcome, your benefits, your reaping of what you're about to sow is so much greater. And it's worth the sacrifice. Number 4, if it seems as if though the bad guys are winning, remember, we have a limited perspective. And it can change the way and make us feel a little discouraged. Now, what I mean by that is, that's actually number 5 for you too. But what I mean by that is people wrong us. And when they wrong us and when they hurt us, we think that they're getting away with it because they're not suffering or feeling the way we felt when they hurt us. But at the end of the day, just because we cannot see God handling them and we cannot see how Jesus is interceding on our behalf, does not mean they're not being handled accordingly. Does not mean that God is not working in your favor. That does not mean we fight vengeance for vengeance to try to fix it on our own. That's something we will never win at. When we fight vengeance with vengeance and we feel like we gotta get them back because they got us, or we gotta do something back in return because they got us, and we gotta make them feel like how they make us feel and how we felt, we're gonna lose every time. And you're going to lose every time. It's okay to turn the other cheek. Replace it with something else. Think about something else. Take your mind off of it. It's okay to pray for them. Hopefully they will see their wrong one day. And they'll come to know and understand and realize the pain that they caused you and the hurt that they caused you and the damage that they've done. But when they don't, you have to accept the fact that their pride and their egos are going to get in the way of them acknowledging that pain and that hurt and that frustration that's built up inside of you. You have to acknowledge that that's going to get in the way. And when you acknowledge that, you can accept and you can heal without that apology. Even though you may get it years later, months later, days later. But just know your healing process will not be held up because of you waiting on that. God sees all. He knows all. Jesus always here for us, interceding on our behalf, sacrificing for us all the time. They see. They know. So don't ever think they're getting away with it just because they living their life or they going about their day. No, they got a conscience just like we do. And guess what? When that conscience come back around and it hit them and they start to think, oh yeah, oh happy day. Want to be a happy day for you. But when they give you that apology, no matter how far apart, long has it been, listen. Just listen. And last but not least, we can go from victims to victors. And guess who get the victory? Woo, woo, you said it. Our God, yes indeed. So don't ever think that you're a victim of your past. Because just as well as you think you're a victim, somebody else may be going through the same thing. And it makes you a victor, that you're able to share your truth and your experience and your life lesson and what happened to you. And it may pull them through. So you never know. And a small prayer for you, just in case. 2 Corinthians 5:10. I'm not reading from that, but this is my small prayer. Heavenly Father, help me to remember that living in a way that pleases you is never in vain. Help me to have a perspective that's not above yours and to thank you for always being with me and never giving up on me. And I thank you for loving me in spite of. And remember, when the going gets tough and the road gets hard, don't fold in the middle of your change. And remember, folding does not mean you've been defeated. It doesn't mean you've been defeated. And when do you know your growth? When do you know when it starts? Let me tell you. Because when we become Christians and we enter into a relationship with God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, it changes us spiritually. We develop a new relationship with them spiritually. So when we start changing spiritually, we grow. We're learning how to handle stress differently, whether it's verbally or physically. We're learning how to deal with things differently because now we've entered into a life of prayer instead of a life of anger, a life of frustration, a life of get back. I got to get them back. Now, when you're changing and you're growing, you're entering into a life of prayer. When you enter into a life of prayer, you're entering into another life of faith. So you're walking on faith with your fist full of prayers each and every day. And your fist full of prayers are your first defense, your first response. They are. They are your weapons of choice. You know, the body armor in Ephesians, the full body armor, the blessed plate, the shield. Well, you also got a fistful of prayers that goes along with it. And it's a perfect match for anything and everybody. So tonight, today, or tomorrow, or even the next day, you may be a little discouraged in the middle of your changing, or right now, if you're feeling some type of way. But tonight, I'm here to tell you that it's human to feel that way. But don't let yourself sit in that too long. Get up. Don't be afraid to make that change. Get up and do something about it. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's a big step. I get it. I understand. We all do. But sometimes it's necessary. It's necessary. And don't be afraid of what you don't know. Because what you don't know ain't going to hurt you. And what you don't know may be good for you to not know. And I say that because Eve, I'm going to hit her one more time. I'm going to hit her topic one more time because, you know, reading Genesis so far has been the best book. And I'm going through the Bible one book at a night. And right now I'm on Numbers. I'm on chapter 20 in Numbers. But Genesis has been the best book thus far. And I've learned a lot. And when I say I've learned a lot, that means I've been speaking with people about the books as well as I go. So I'm not just learning on my own and from my own understanding. And I'm reading 3 different versions. I'm reading the King James Version, of course. I'm reading the ICB for a good breakdown. And I'm also reading the Contemporary Bible version for an understanding in a different context. So I'm learning the word for itself. And when God was telling Aaron and Moses to do something, and I forgot what it was, but I can go to it right now. And God said, when the people of Israel kept complaining, they always brought their complaints to God about the food, about them. He should have left them in the desert. They left them in the desert to die. They should have stayed in Israel. They was always complaining. So one day God said, "Do you think I am weak?" Oh yeah, that was funny. You think I am weak? No, my God is never weak. I'm sorry. He's not. It's not that. But moving right along. And about Eve, the serpent didn't really trick her. He was right about the trees and what they meant for as telling her the knowledge and what the understanding was. And when he told her that you would know everything like him, he was correct. God had already explained that to them that they didn't need to know. They didn't. That means you would be like me. You don't need to be like me. There's nobody else above me. So why would you be like me if there's nobody else above me? I can't have 2 of me, basically, what God was trying to explain to them. But the serpent, he told her the truth about the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. But she ate it. And I thought that was funny how we look for God to be a friend to us, and we look for Him to be our companion in everything we do. But when it all boils down to when we disappoint Him, or when we think we've done something so terrible, we try to run. And I thought it was I thought it was very human like how they tried to run when they heard Him coming to the garden. And but God being such a good friend to us, and He's being so loving unconditionally, and He forgives us unconditionally. And the first question He said was, "Where are you?" And I started thinking about that, how we are. When we do something that's so bad, we try to run from our parents, just like a child try to run from their parents when they do something wrong. And, we'd be so embarrassed. We'd be so afraid of how we're going to get chastised that we run. But when you run from God, it's a little different. He actually comes for you. He wants to know where you are. And it's like our relationship with Him. If we backslide and if we get stray off path away from Him, eventually He's going to use something, someone, or some life event to ask us, where are you? And I know we don't see that situation like that or that current state that we're in because it's just so horrible. It's just a bad feeling of what we may be going through. But what He's actually trying to say when He throw those things at us is, where are you? I get it. You messed up. I get it. You have damaged our relationship. But where are you? He's the one that's seeking us to always repair these relationships. So when we seek Him, it's kind of like a different vibe. It's a different feeling. Because it's a good feeling to seek Him and find Him. And He's never too far away. No matter what. No matter what we do. He never gives up on us. And that's a friend in life that we put emphasis on humans to be more like. But if we take those emphasis off the humans that we portray them to be that kind of friend, then we would know that Jesus is our friend. Our Father is our friend and a great companion. But what are we doing to keep these relationships repaired? What are we doing to keep our commitment to these relationships? It's so easy for us to get out of whack, get behind, go left when He say go right. But getting back on track seems hard to us. But getting off track seems like it's easy as I don't know what. Why is it so easy to get off track and fold, throw the towel in? But changing, growing, staying on the right track is difficult. Why do we find it difficult? If you look at the Bible and the laws before Jesus was born that were established during Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Moses' times, Jesus made the sacrifice for the lost for us. Through faith, we have a relationship with God because of Jesus. So, and if you look at the rights and the wrongs, it's not that hard. It's not hard to do right. It's not hard to love somebody. It's not hard to not gossip. It's not hard to not kill somebody. It's not hard to not commit adultery. It's not hard to not steal. It's not hard to live right. It's harder to do wrong than do right, from my experience. But we make doing right so difficult. Not saying that you have to take that pain or take that treatment, but it's the simple fact that you can replace that with God's love. You can replace that with His comfortness. You can replace that with His counsel. You can replace that with His word. You can replace those feelings and those emotions with prayers. So if we did that, instead of acting out of character, it wouldn't be so hard. The personal decisions that we make when we choose not to grow, when we choose not to elevate, when we choose not to stay astray on this right path that Jesus has aligned for us and God planned for us, that's what makes it difficult. That's what makes change hard. That's what makes growing even harder. Because you gotta backpedal and then go back again. But if we stayed aligned, we wouldn't have to go back. We wouldn't have to put in all the extra work going back and trying to get back right if we stayed aligned. And I'm only saying that because I didn't stay aligned. So I know how it feels to go, then come all the way to back, fix that, get it right, and then go back and get back aligned. That's a lot of work. That's why it's difficult. That's why it feels like that. That's why we feel overwhelmed. When it's time for a change, and when it's time for the grow, it's time for the elevate. See, God will break you to promote you. He'll break you to elevate you. He will break you to build you. But it's not the kind of break that will hurt you. It's not the kind of break that's going to last forever. It's not the kind of break that means you're completely broken. It's the kind of breaks that means, hey, you're bendable, my child. Let me break you. But let me fix you too. I got to break you to fix you. So you're more bendable than you are breakable with Him. Because when we break ourselves, it's a completely different breaking. Or we break ourselves to the bone where we don't have nothing left to give to other people. Where we don't even have nothing left for ourselves. That's how bad we let ourselves break ourselves. And that's how bad we let other people break us. But when God breaks us, He breaks us to build us. He doesn't break us to break us. He breaks us to bend us, to show us that we are bendable. We are bendable. That means if we are bendable, that means things that He throws at us and gives us and the tasks and the trials that comes our way are bearable. You have to believe that he's not going to put more on us than we can bear. So if it wasn't bearable, it wouldn't have been on us. But some things are not from him. Not everything is from him. Some things are from ourselves. You have to acknowledge that. Sometimes we go through stuff on our own and want him to get us up out of it. But we never acknowledge the things that we put ourselves through. We're too good for that. We ain't acknowledging that. But we'll acknowledge everything else somebody else did to us. And we'll acknowledge what we think God is taking us through or Jesus is taking us through. But what we take ourselves through, we have a hard time acknowledging that. The choices we make, to unlawful decision making that we make, we have a hard time acknowledging that. But if we acknowledge the unlawful decisions that we make, granted, all things are for us. But it's up to us to make those decisions if we choose to participate in them and choose to associate ourselves with those things. Everything that's lawful ain't for you. And everything that's lawful is not good for you. God made both lawful and unlawful things here on earth. But we have decisions to make. But I know, and I'm only encouraging you because I'm speaking from my experience. I'm speaking from a past that I don't want to see nobody else go down the line for. I'm speaking for somebody that can't think right now. Somebody that may be frustrated right now and don't know why they're going through right now. I'm speaking for somebody that is confused on the path that they are taking right now. They may think it's all bad for them right now, but it's actually for your good. See, everything that's good has a purpose. And everything that's bad has a purpose. The bad has a purpose just like the good has a purpose. It all falls into the same alignment at the end of the day. If you stick it out and don't fold in the midst of it, in the midst of your elevation, in the midst of your growing, in the midst of your trusting season, trust him. Don't fold. Trust him. You have to believe. And when you believe, that means you're opening the door for your faith to grow. And when your faith is growing, you are activating. You're activating. And then you activate the spirit, baby. But life is not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. Don't think it is. We know this. But you can't live every day down. You can't live every day unhappy. You can't live every day afraid of the next level. You can't live every day expecting the worst to happen.
For more information on today's Spotlight Church, visit them on the internet and follow them on social media. I'm Renee Johnson with the Daily Gospel Network. And until next time, remember, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us.